Hi, I'm Jess Ames, and this is Silver and Gold Friendship. And I'm here with my daughter-in-law, Bri.
Hi.
And we are going to talk about her special friendships that she has with two other women, and they have been friends for a very long time. How long?
It's probably been about 16 years.
Wow, that's a really long time. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. And so tell me a little bit about how you met and how you stayed friends for this long.
So Jess and Teague and I met in 6th grade. We were all in choir class together. And so it was very special how we met because I was sick during that time before I had a liver transplant. And not a lot of people came up to me and wanted to be my friend. And they were the two only girls that came up to me in middle school when I was first starting out and asked me if they wanted to be their friend.
Oh, I love that. Now I love them even more. That's so
And
sweet.
we've always stayed friends since, no matter where life took us. We would take breaks and we'd always come back to each other.
That's so cool. And I feel like it's so rare to have friends that you stay connected to after a specific like schooling period.
Mm-hmm.
Like friends from high school typically fall off, friends from college, like some of them stay friends, but for you to all have stayed friends for that long is so remarkable.
Yes. Absolutely.
Which is why I wanted to talk to you. So tell me one of your favorite memories of either all three of you or two of you together, whatever is one of your favorites.
So one of my most recent favorites of ours was actually for my bachelorette when we had our first adult girls trip to Michigan, and it was just very special being able to do whatever we wanted and just everything that we used to talk about as kids that we wanted to do.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and you guys had a spa day and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a spa day. We did salt therapy, or we would sit in the salt room, and that was a lot of fun. We got to relax.
That's a rarity when you're and that brings me to another thing that I was thinking about, that you had your first 9 years, right? Before Jess had her baby and Teague had her baby. And so how has your friendship changed now that you all have a baby around the same age?
Well, we definitely now like to schedule things together. We like to get all the little girls together and have play dates. But we definitely get to do a lot more together now rather than when I just had my son and they were still grown up.
I was thinking today about how now the little girls will grow up and be friends. And when people ask them, how long have you been friends? Since we were eggs.
I know, that's something that I really hope that they can continue to be friends throughout, because that's such a special thing to be able to say.
Yeah.
That your moms were all best friends through their life stages and then they get to be friends now.
Right. And that's something that you see in Lifetime movies and
right.
like chick flicks and stuff, but to see it in real life it's just so special. And I love to see the three of you together.
Yeah.
Like your friendship is it touches every area of your life. And I love that.
Aww.
Do you have a tradition with Justin Teague?
We do. Every year we do Friendsgiving, and that's something we started about, I want to say 5 years ago. But we do it every year, and we all get together. We get to bring the kids together now. It's just a special time. And we get to grow up and hopefully continue to do this and say that we had all these memories together every year.
I love that. And then what role do they play in your children's lives?
Well, they're aunties to my kids and hopefully to their kids. No, I don't. But they're just always there whenever we actually need somebody there. They're always available to be a babysitter or just for to talk about anything together. If we have any struggles with like parenting we want to talk about, we have each other to lean on. kind of discuss that.
Yeah, I think that's really nice that you all have that similar experience with one another, and especially as the girls grow to be preteens and teens, you'll have each other to lean on, because that
Absolutely.
it's a tough period of time, and to not have someone going through it that understands, I mean, it's different when you're already through it, because then you look back in retrospect, you think, oh, they get through it, but when you're in it, it's lonely, and you feel like no one really understands how hard it is, to be a parent at every single stage. And you each have each other to lean on when, the puberty starts, or just the sassiness starts that you're not used to. Your little sweet angel comes home and rolls her eyes at you. You have someone to call, and they say, oh my gosh, it happened here too. So you're really lucky. Like, all three of you are so lucky to have.
I didn't look at it like that. That's really special. And then they have each other too. If they need somebody else to call, they don't want to talk to mom and dad, they can call their aunts.
Right, exactly.
Something to bounce off of.
Yeah, that's another thing. I hadn't even thought of that they can call, and that thing that you seek out the answer that you want to hear, so they'll know which aunt to call. The answer that they're looking for, right? So they'll have their pick of the winner. And then, so how do you all make time for each other? You're all so busy raising kids and having families.
Well, we all keep in touch, even if it's not every day. We have a group chat, so we like to reach out to each other at least once a month to set up a day that works for all of us, that we can hang out and have a girls' night and just kind of chat and let loose.
And do you go out, or do you go to someone's house?
Most of the time we go to Jess's house. It's like the hangout place. We go there and we just drink some wine, listen to music, we sing karaoke.
Oh my gosh.
But we do have our times too. We'll go there and then we'll go out, and sometimes we'll go to the Mexican restaurants and have margaritas and tacos.
Oh, fun. You should definitely invite the moms along for that sometime.
Good time.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to share with people. So what is a book or a movie that you all love together?
We grew up loving the movie Grease. We would always have sleepovers, and that would be the go-to movie to turn on, and we would sit there and watch it, and we would dance and sing to every song. We just loved it. Loved it so much, and we all had a good laugh every time we played it.
That sounds like a ton of fun. I'm trying to think what we did during sleepovers when I was growing up. We were watching scary movies.
Like we did that too, yeah.
Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. That was another big one. I feel like we watched that every single time we had a sleepover. How do you handle disagreements or a conflict in your friendship?
So we haven't, it has been a long time since we've been friends. We thankfully haven't had a whole lot of like big disagreements, but we would have our small disagreements, and I think the biggest thing is that we would always stay in contact with each other and communicate what was bothering us about, like, if somebody did something, we would say, hey, this has bothered me. And it wouldn't always be like straight up. We would start with that. Like when we were younger, we would give each other space and not talk for a period of time, but we would always come back and end up talking about what was wrong, and we would work through it and see what we could change and compromise and stay friends.
Oh, I love that too. This is like, I'm loving getting this window into your friendship. Do you and Jess and Tina now it's just gonna like go right down the shitter. Oh, okay. So how do you all navigate different parenting styles or philosophies? Because they can't all be identical.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that I have learned personally this year, since we all have our little girls now, is just how we used to talk about parenting and how it's all kind of coming into play now in real life. And seeing like my friends being first time moms and like me thinking, oh, that's how I was my firstborn. And the second came along like, oh, you just wait. And then they're like, no, that's not going. No, but we always just, I think the biggest thing is just keeping an open mind and not being judgmental. Because even if they think it's the best parenting way and you think that it may not be, sometimes you can just keep that to yourself and just let them parent how they want to parent.
Yeah.
And it's good to give advice if they ask for it. And I think it's important to also not overstep and give advice when maybe they seem a little overwhelmed and you think it's going to be the right thing to give advice. It might not be, but having those boundaries.
And that can be really hard to do especially when you've gone through parenting already and you see something and you're like, that you went one way before and you thought later you should have gone a different way and you want to save your friends all that trouble. And I know I go through that as a mom and it's, and I'm
going through that too.
Right. And you go through it. I watch my children making the same mistakes that I've made and it can be really hard. And it must have been really hard for my parents to see mistakes or maybe something that I could do different that would make my life easier later. And I probably wouldn't have listened anyways. But
exactly.
It's hard to find that line where you are being helpful and when you're just being a know-it-all.
Yeah, exactly. And that can be hard sometimes with having friends for this long. It feels like they're just sisters to me. So
right. Yeah, that's true. That would be so hard. So what is something that you've learned about yourself through your friendships?
I think I've learned that how to become a better friend in myself. Like I've seen how we have navigated through our friendship for so long, and I've seen things like that I've thought we could have handled better, that how I would want to be treated as a friend is how I try to put myself out there and be a friend. So I think just going through all those years of friendship is just watching the experiences we've gone through and learning how to become a better friend for them.
And it seems to be working. You're doing a great job. You've learned a lot. So what is a goal or a dream that you and Jess and Teague share?
Well, since we had our bachelorette and we had our first adult girls trip, since we've talked about doing something every summer with just the girls and having the kids with us too, and just having like a moms and kids trip every single summer.
Oh, fun.
So that's our dream.
That's really fun.
A lot of times we'd have our time of the month. It would be around the things.
Yeah, that happens with women. They get all synced up.
It would go synced up, and then like a couple months later, it wouldn't be synced up, and then it would go back to synced up. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. So at least if you do your summer trip, you know when to plan it and not plan it. That's wild. I know that happened with my stepmom and I when I was growing up. As a teenager. My poor dad. I always wondered why he worked 2 jobs, and he said it was so that she could stay home with us. But I think it was because she was staying home with us, and once a month
we were
we were unbearable. I'm sure, my poor dad. But I want to thank you so much. I know that this isn't the most comfortable.
I'm an open book. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I love you.
I love you.